to... decide what is good and what is bad for the elected by you president and his administration. Who the hell are they? Spiro Agnew, who was hated by the liberal left, called them a bunch of enfeebled snobs, and that's exactly what they are. They think they know. They don't. The level of mediocrity in a big establishment like New York Times, Los Angeles Times, major television network, you don't have to be excellent journalist. You have to be exactly a mediocre journalist. That's easier to survive. There's no competition anymore. You have your good, nice income, $100,000 a year. That's it. Whether you are better or worse doesn't really matter anymore. As soon as you're smiling to the camera and do your job. That's it. No more competition. Power structure slowly is eroded by the bodies and groups of people who do not have neither qualification nor the will of people to keep them in power, and yet they do have power. Okay. Together with that, there is another process. Law enforcement, law and order organization and structure is being eroded. For the last 20, 25 years, if you see old movies and new movies, you can see that in new movies, a policeman, an officer of the United States Army looks dumb, angry, psychotic, paranoid. A criminal looks nice, kind of, well, he smokes hash and shoots the whatever drug, but basically he's a nice human being. He's creative. And he's unproductive only because society oppresses him. Whereby a general of Pentagon is always, by definition, a war maniac. A policeman is a pig, rude policeman. He abuses his power. No? A generalization like that. The hatred, the mistrust to the people who are supposed to protect you and enforce law and order. Moral relativity. The Angelo Buono process lasted 2 years in Los Angeles. And yet there are still some lawyers who say, look, he's a nice character, as a matter of fact. There was some witness who said, also a criminal, who said, well, he's a nice guy. I asked him one day to burn a house of my enemy, and he wouldn't do it. He's a nice fella. Erosion. A slow substitution of basic moral principles, whereby a criminal is not a criminal, actually. He's a defendant. Even if his guilt is proven, there is still a doubt to kill or not to kill, to be or not to be. Thou shalt not kill, yes, but this line may not necessarily be applicable to a murderer. Thou shalt not murder. That should be the presumption, not that thou shalt not kill. Okay, labor relations. At this stage, within 15 to 20 years, we destroy the traditionally established links of bargaining between employer and employee. The classical Marxist-Leninist theory of natural exchange of goods. A person A has 5 sacks of grain and person B has 5 pairs of shoes. And the natural exchange without money is when they bargain between each other. And only with the introduction of the third force, C, an entirely third foreign stranger who says, no, don't give him 5 sacks of grain, give it to me, and you give me your 5 pairs of shoes, and I will distribute it accordingly, so that the economy will go. This is the death of natural exchange, death of natural bargaining. Well, trade unions were established 100 years ago. The objective was to improve working conditions and to protect the rights of workers from those employers who were abusing their right because they had more money. Objectively, at that time, initially, the trade union movement did work. What we see now is that the bargaining process is no longer resulting in the compromise, which is leading objectively to betterment of working conditions and increase of salary. What we see is that after each prolonged strike, the workers lose. Even if they have 10% increase of their salaries, they cannot catch up due to inflation and due to missed time. More than that, millions of people suffer from that strike because economy now is interdependent. It's intertwined like one body. If previously steel workers, say 100 years ago, could strike and nobody would suffer, now it's impossible anymore. If a garbage collector strikes today, the rest of the multi-million city is stinking. I mean, there's no more service. In Quebec, for example, we had the electricians who were on strike in the middle of winter. You can freeze your bottom, and they still were on strike. Did they catch up with the salary? No, they lost. Who benefited? The leaders of trade union. What is the motivation for strike? Improving of workers' condition? No, obviously it's not. Then what is it? Ideology. To prove to these capitalists. And the obedient horde of workers, like sheep, follow these people. And they cannot disobey. Why? Because if they do, you know what happens to them. Pickets, murders, shooting truck drivers by picketers. In Montreal, for example, I saw with my own eyes when I was correspondent of CBC International, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, when the workers of aircraft factory destroyed computers and the equipment in the factory. And the administration employed strike breakers. Their cars were turned upside down and burned. Their houses were burned. Their kids were intimidated. And some victims were there. Of that we can be sure. Why? To improve conditions of workers? No. Ideology. Okay, so this is what happens basically. It may or may not happen without the help of the Soviet Union. But the natural tendencies are being greatly taken advantage of and capitalized by the Soviet propaganda systems. How? Whenever trade union strikes, we have influx of propaganda, mass media, ideological dissemination. The workers' right, and we repeat it like parrots. Yes, workers' right. Whose rights? Workers? No. The only freedom of worker to sell his labor according to his own desire and will is taken away from him. By whom? By trade union boss. Unlimited power is given. Responsibility. I want to sell my labor not for $2.50 an hour, but for $2. I don't have right. My freedom is denied to me. I know that if I sell my work for $2 an hour, not for $3 an hour, I will compete better with the other guy who is lazy and more greedy. I don't need $3. I need only $2. No, I was made to believe by media, by business, by advertising agencies that I need more and more and more. Have you ever heard any advertising on TV to consume less? No. No way. Whether you need a 6-cylinder car or not, you have to buy it. And hurry up. When I was driving here on the local radio station, an excited announcer said, "You hurry up, rush and save, save, save. There is a pantyhose sale." Save by buying more. Of course. It would be too naive to expect that KGB makes that advertising agency to do such a crazy commercial. No, of course not. But what we did when I was working for Novosti Press, we would snow plow editorial offices, student organizations, religious groups with literature of class struggle, if not directly Marxism-Leninism propaganda, then a propaganda of a legitimate aspirations of working class, betterment of life, equality. Equality, mind you. President Kennedy once said, we will make America to believe that people are born equal. Are people born equal? Is there any mentioning in the Bible or any other holy scripture in any religion, if you don't believe me, go to the library and check it. There is not a single word about equality, just the opposite. By your deeds, God will judge you. What you do is important, the merit of your personality. You cannot legislate equality. If you want to be equal, you have to be equal. You have to deserve it. And yet we build our society on the principle of equality. We say people are equal. We know it is false. It's a lie. Some people are tall and stupid. Others are short, bold, and clever. If we make them equal by force, if we put the principle of equality in the basis of our socio-political structure, it's the same thing as building a house on sand. Sooner or later it will collapse, and that's exactly what happens. And we, as Soviet propaganda makers, are trying to push you in the direction which you go yourself. Equality, yes, equality. People are equal. Land of equal opportunities. Is it true or not? Think about it. Equal opportunities. Should there be equal opportunities? For me and for a lazy bastard who come here from some other country and immediately registers as a welfare recipient benefits? I never received a single dollar. No, sorry, I did receive once. But I never applied for welfare. For the 13 years, I took any job. Security guard, journalist, taxi driver, anything. Well, I was restless, but some people don't like it. They immediately. So why should we have equal opportunities? Why? Equal.
Good morning, Buckshot. Thanks for the lead on Rodowski's Facebook feed. I'm dismayed. I'm afraid that the people who are leading the Virginia Defense League are actual wolves in sheep's clothing at this point, because they are not backing down from going down to Richmond. And I don't see it as backing down. You're going there to lobby somebody who's not going to be there, and you're going to lobby so that about your ability to keep and bear arms, but you're going to freely walk into a cage to demonstrate that right. That's just insane. It's an emergency message, man. Pound the desk. Alex Jones, pound the desk. Anybody who walks into that cage is crazy, man. You're insane. You're a double-minded, and it's sad to see you used up and churn into something. But there's people going to walk in there intentionally to cause problems. And that's the criminally insane. But the governor's got it. He's got you guys willingly driving down to his prison. And then he's going to use extraction machines to come in and grab people. That's what that thing is. They're going to push people out of the way, open the door, grab somebody. It's not designed correctly because it has to be a roll-up, so that you don't have to open up into something or that. You don't want to have to open to the side of something. You want to roll it up. The design is a flaw. It's easily you can trap those guys in it. All you got to do is throw wedges in where it slides. You know, just take some shit and just wedge it in there, man. They're fucked. They don't have the leverage behind that door to open it unless they got a machine to open it with. But I suspect that's just a grab and pull the side door. But just from my cursory look at the machine, it can be thwarted. Anyway, I'm going to go meet with them today in the afternoon, and I'm going to give them my briefing, and I really hope that they're smart enough to say, hey, look, the Virginia Defense League guys, we're just going to eat the cost of those buses. Maybe we'll still send them down there, have them open their doors, and let the police stare into empty buses. Okay? Richmond has been captured by the governor. The governor of Virginia at 5 p.m. on Friday put out the dispatch with extreme prejudice order, and right now we are living at the barrel of a gun. He seized the Capitol. He seized and through the help of the insurrectionists in the Democratic Party of Virginia, they've turned it over to him. The representatives aren't allowed to even carry weapons in there. So those Republicans think that those guys are their friends, the Democrats. They're out of your fucking mind. You guys are crazy lunatics. You're crazier than the people going down there and willingly walking into prison. And then they're going to be sorted. Look, the governor's going to render them. There's too much radio traffic for it not to go sideways. And what I mean by that is that we have the military doing drills off the coast of southern part of the United States. They're jamming people's ability to navigate, and they've been jamming it for a while now. And what they're doing is that they're selecting targets and they're jamming them. All the jamming and everything that's going on from the boat in the ocean has spotters on the ground. There are spotters on the ground. There is a full military operation underway. The military is now talking about jamming openly. They got caught. People say, yeah, well, it probably won't affect anybody on Martin Luther King Day. No. Well, okay, where's the majority of the people going to come from who might be coming into Virginia? Who's warm and comfortable, doesn't think about the fact that it's going to be a cold-ass Monday? People from the South. So they're jamming from the South. Who knows what they're doing from the North? The FAA has just ordered the closing of Richmond in the area. So planes are going to be diverted. Planes are being diverted for this, and it's going on now. It's all through the weekend. The governor has now secured the airspace in Richmond area, and he's also secured the airspace throughout all of Virginia. The military's actively blocking people over and over. There's this too much going on for this not to be a sideways operation. And like I said 5 minutes ago, Virginia Defense League, you guys have to eat that bus costs. Don't go. Nobody should go down there. Unless you live in Richmond, and if you're with the Virginia Defense League and you live in Richmond, Virginia, I would just go to the fence and look in. Or just shadow the police. Everybody choose a police officer and watch him from Richmond. Just watch him. Shadow him. Back up from home, just watch him. We have night vision goggle tubes have been taken away from the distributor. So high-end night vision is no longer immediately overnighted. FBI came in and swiped them, according to Bob Griswold. The FBI is in motion. We have the November 19th agreement in Virginia with the federal prosecutors out of Maryland, that in the cooperation of the Western District Courts, federal courts, they're going to prosecute in federal court every felony involving a gun in Virginia. So they're not, the governor and his crowd don't even have to risk their lives. They have what communists always do, is bringing in foreign prosecutors, foreign troops to dispatch Virginians and anybody caught in Virginia that they don't want to let go. Because here in Virginia, you can commit felony gun crimes as long as you're Antifa and you're a Democrat. Those basically, if you're a Democrat, there's no such thing as a gun crime for you. Okay? That's just the way Virginia rolls. It's been rolling that way since for at least 2.5 years now. And it's secretly ran that way behind the scenes in a lot of other cases for a long, long time. You know, this is a plantation, and the communists are not giving it up. Matter of fact, they're telling all the uppity niggers, hey, you know, we got a cage down here on the state capitol. Why don't you all go in there and tell us about your grievances, and tell us how you know, show us your numbers. Come on, man. Virginia Defense League, come on, show us your numbers, man. Come on, man. You guys you're all ready to fight? Well, come on and show us your numbers. Get in that cage over there. Virginia Defense League, get in that cage. Just get in that cage and show us your numbers. Let us look at you. Right. You just walked into a prison. When you walk into a prison, they strip fucking search you, basically. You're going to be strip searched before you walk into the cage. Are your brains that fucking dull? Or are you being read? Or is Virginia Defense League possibly being led by a wolf in a sheep's clothing, taking all you good-minded Americans and sticking them into cages? Because if you ride down there on that bus and you get in that fucking cage, you got nobody else to blame but yourself. State Trooper Willard called up Alex Jones and told you that. He said, look, the law is the law, and I'm here to do the law. These communists have people on their payroll. Who do you think set up the fucking cage? Who do you think ran this goddamn son of a bitch right here into... Ooh, baby. I just took my show to a grinding halt. Ba-bum, bum, 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 ba-da-dum, bum. Who do you think just brought this son of a bitch in? Thank you, Buckshot. Who do you think did that? Who? Oh, Ben. Let's see. Let me see if I can't get this son of a bitch bigger. A full screen. And then Control Plus. Yeah, right there, man. Everybody in construction knows what that is. Excuse me. We can make 1 million of these up here in the mountains. And we got trailers to roll them in with. Now, I suspect this is part of the Israeli program that is being introduced into it. So here's another goddamn point for everybody. There's another point. We have the Israelis who are rolling in experimental technology to show Virginia how it can be done. Look how fast they stuck stickers on that son of a bitch. You know how much garbage Virginia has in storage that are on contingency plans? So the Israelis say, oh, you know, we'll maintain all this shit. You don't actually have to buy it right now. We'll maintain it, and we'll deliver it to you. You just have to pay the maintenance fee, the VIG. You pay the VIG on it. So Virginia has in storage houses all over the place, shit like that. And all that is a trap, right? Hey, spring the trap on them, man. Well, let's see. Everybody, the only person who's basically got any kind of protection is the driver. And then he's got an overweighted vehicle, while dangerous, is takedownable. He can't even put that fucker up onto a wheelie because of the back end. Because today's gun show in Harrisonburg, Virginia, they're gonna have the Bobcat rodeo, and those guys can roll those things up onto things and walk over. He's got too much garbage on that to get away. He's trapped. He's trapped. All you gotta do is throw some bars into those treads. Just throw a bar into the tread when it's not moving. Let him, and he'll roll. That's it. He's gone. He's popped that fucker out, man. He's gonna pop a tread. He could sit in there and up down. You know, he's trash. Easily just, that thing is not mobile. It is absolutely a death trap in a crowd. All you gotta do is put a bar in there. But hey, you're going into prison. You're not even allowed a bar. You're not allowed a pipe. You're not allowed anything. You guys are gonna have to stampede over the fences, and I guarantee that when you do that, you're gonna meet automatic fire like Palestinians. So you're gonna willingly go into the Israeli trap and look like Palestinians demanding your rights. And then the only thing you could do is possibly dig a hole, and you have to do it barehanded, by the way, dig a hole with your, and pick up rocks and throw them. That's all you're gonna be able to do. And welcome to the cage. So Governor Northam, so that's another data point you got going on. It just keeps coming, Now we have the third level of what is FEMA and continuity of government being briefed. So you have Washington, you have Denver, and then you have Nebraska and Kansas. That area. And they've been briefed. Another data point. This shit is all set up to go sideways. Nobody brings this much fucking cannon fodder to a killing field and walks away. So you don't show up there, Mr. McGiffin, whatever the fuck, Virginia Defense League. Send empty buses. I can't repeat that enough. So right now, as far as I'm concerned, unless you got a really compelling reason why the good people of Virginia should all willingly get strip searched, walk into a cage. What are you proving? That you can obey tyrants? When a tyrant says you're fucked, you're fucked. That's not, you have a duty not to obey unconstitutional laws. And by the way, I know you guys aren't really paying attention real well, Virginia Defense League, but sections, okay, here, this is the Virginia Constitution, and this is a crash course, Virginia Defense League, and I know that you don't understand this, and very few of us will drip through to you, because you chose to suffer. In Virginia, Section 6 is how to give up your rights as one of the good people of Virginia and become a ward of a representative. Section 6, free elections, consent of the governed. In other words, you have to sign up, you have to consent, and the way you consent is by signing up to vote. That's the consent. So if you don't agree with what they're doing at this point, you got to go waddle up to the voter registration place and hand them a notarized, according to the code, it has to be notarized letter explaining your sovereignty, that you are no longer going to suffrage. So you have the right of suffrage. Suffrage. It doesn't say you have the right of vote. You have the right of suffrage. So in other words, you are allowed to be a ward of the state, and you can voluntarily participate in servitude. You have to read the 13th Amendment. You have there's involuntary servitude is not allowed, but if they can strip you of your rights if you're processed as a criminal. And that's why everything's a felony now, so they can process you as a criminal and you become unwilling servitude. But anyway, it says all elections ought to be free. Doesn't say they are free, they ought to be free. It's the same. There's a reason they use that word ought. Anyway, and that all men having sufficient evidence of permanent common interest with an attachment to the community have the right of suffrage. So when you declare you're one of the good people of Virginia, you have to say that you are a man or a woman and give sufficient evidence of permanent common interest with an attachment to the community. So you don't have to suffer. You can be an elector. See, at first you're an elector, then you elect to suffer when you register to vote. And you cannot be taxed or deprived of or damaged in their property for public uses without their own consent or that of their representative duly elected. So once you choose to give up your elective status as one of the good people of Virginia and basically handle your own affairs, you're a sovereign at that point. That's the way that the system is set up. And they didn't teach you this in school, because how many of you would not register to vote maybe when you were 18? But they said, no, I can handle my own affairs. I don't need you in my shit. Take your code and stuff it. You don't need, I'm not going to agree to be a prisoner and live under your secret code and allow counties to use ordinance on me. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. I'm no longer going to be a victim of martial law. Okay? That of their representatives duly elected. So you have to give consent as one of the good people of Virginia to be to the code and the ordinances, or you can choose to register to vote, and then all the codes and ordinances you have to use your representative to change, but they're going to be used on you until they're changed, or bound by any law to which they have not in like manner assented for the public good. See, there's good. Right now, rendering babies is not good. Taking people's property is not good. Violating the Republican form of government that is supposed to be guaranteed under the United States Constitution of America is not good. That's all bad. And if you notice, Governor Northam does not use the word good people. He uses people. He uses the word people. A declaration of rights made by the good people of Virginia in exercise of their sovereign powers, which rights do pertain to them and their posterity, as the basis and foundation of government. In other words, the government's set up to handle all the indigent people. That's why we set up the governing of the mines. It's to handle the indigent. It is for the common good. And if you read through this, these are up to number 6 is all your rights as one of the good people of Virginia. That's all it needed to be said. Now, they're not free. They ought to be free. And free means in light and open, so everyone has. You walk up, you say your vote in the public square, you're held accountable for your decisions in regards to your neighbor's property. Right? Because that's what they're basically saying, but they're doing it in secret. So if a bunch of people get together in secret, they can vote to take your property. Fuck, that's not good. That's not free. Then now that you're a ward of the state, Section 7 kicks in. And this is what the governor of Virginia did, Virginia Defense League. Section 7. Laws should not be suspended. It doesn't say shall not be suspended. Laws should not be suspended. So right now, there is no code and no ordinance in effect. It is the barrel of a gun. And the order is to dispatch with extreme prejudice. That's the order that has gone out to everybody in Virginia that totes a gun on behalf of the governor. And he has a lot of people toting guns on his behalf that said, you know, you guys elected the Democrats, and that's just the way it is. You see, Section 6 says so, and you guys all registered to vote, so you're now a ward, and when I pull you over, I have to know the difference, but I can get away with trampling your rights when you're one of the good people until, you know, the show is over. But right now, Section 7 is in effect, that all power of suspending laws or the execution of laws by any authority without the consent of the representatives of the people is injurious to their rights and ought not to be exercised. It's been exercised. So right now, the Virginia Constitution at Section 7 and on says to everybody who is registered to vote, there is no code, there is no ordinance. You're living under whatever the police officer tells you. If a police officer tells you to ram your left hand up your asshole and you don't, you're going to argue about it in court if you survive the encounter. But you're still, it's at the barrel of a gun right now. We are living under the occupied Confederate state of blackface Northam. He's not proving his sovereignty isn't about landowners and about the good people of Virginia. His sovereignty is about the oligarchy and the word is oligarchical collectivism. Oligarchical collectivism. That's what we're witnessing right now. And he has, with a stroke of his pen, commanded all his people to set up a prison on the state grounds, and he dares you, Virginia Defense League, to show up with your buses and get into his prison. He's daring you to go to his prison. Griswold echoed exactly what I said, but he said it in a glance. If you guys have to go anywhere, you should rally somewhere else. No, I think the ultimate statement is to send the buses empty. Maybe have a cameraman in each one of the buses who's in the bus filming, and just see the reaction of the state police when you get off bus, only one person on the bus. 100 buses showing up with only one person on a bus with a camera taking pictures. Now, you guys can all set up DLive accounts like I can. All you need is an extra battery pack, an iPhone, and the cord, and you got streaming video. And while you're driving down, use your high-speed internet because you guys all have it. Set up a DLive account and start streaming it, and stream the reaction of these assholes when they come off the bus, when you come off the bus. But only one maybe. Otherwise, the buses all should show up, the doors open up, and just say, hey, Lucas showed up for a fight. Because what you are is walking into the bully's schoolyard. And the bully is in control of the schoolyard. And he set up the schoolyard so that he gets to beat your ass, and you really don't have a chance. 10,000 people showing up, mowing down 10,000 unarmed people with M60. Very fucking doable. You know, look at Josie Wales. They just had one gun and took down a company. Right? All those boys showed up playing their song, disarmed, and then got into a formation to swear allegiance to the United States of America under the Union. And they all got mowed down by a Gatling gun. They just took them down, man. That's a cool weapon, man. All you gotta do is go da 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 da. It's a Jack in the Box, and the Jack in the Box pops open. Okay, reload. Let's do it again. Shit, you people, crazy, man. Anybody who's going down there, I'm warning you. You are supposed to be guarding your families, and next your local village, and then from the village you'll send representatives to the county. That's the way it's supposed to work. Augusta County is under that right now. That is the ground up defense of Augusta County. And that should be going on in every county in Virginia, in every Second Amendment county. You guys have all voted already. You're suffering, and they're going to let you suffer a lot now. And they plan on getting you to justify their making you suffer. You know, they're that person who beat you and said, "It hurts me so much to have to beat your ass. You made me do it." Look, you're walking into the bully schoolyard. He's in control. Don't go. Don't show up for the fight. The fight is at your house. The fight is at your village. The fight is at your county line. We already have, it's all drawn. And then at the county level, we'll send help to other counties. And that's the way it runs. We don't just all willy-nilly go running towards the sound of a bullet. There is no bullet down there. He's told you that you're not allowed to exercise your rights as one of the good people of Virginia, and he's daring you to try to, or even say you have the right to, because you're not allowed to say no under martial law. There is no protesting in martial law. That doesn't occur. You get in a cage. You know, it's just like out of that goddamn movie, Get in My Belly. That big fat Scottish man. That's what Northrup's doing. Northrup's saying, "Get in my belly." Hey, little man, get in my belly. Yes, little man, I eat you. Oh, man. I am so sorry to do that to you guys. I'm panicking. I couldn't get it out of my pocket. I'm fumbling. And if I'm coughing and I can't get this out of my pocket, just imagine how awful it is going to be trying to panic and get a weapon out of your pocket. It's insane what these people are doing. I don't know how to put it out any more succinct than Virginia Defense League. As far as I'm concerned, if you guys go down there and you get arrested, I don't feel sorry for you. It's stupid. You're the bully. You said that you're going to go talk to the bullies, and the bully says, "Yeah, okay, we're going to meet you, and you're going to come talk to me on my terms, not your terms. Your terms is you are exercising. You want to exercise your rights. Getting into a cage is not you exercising your rights. Letting them control you is not you exercising your rights. That's exercise insanity. That's double-mindedness. That's just stupidity. I'm going to say it again. Stupid is what stupid does. And if you guys are willing to go down there and do that, you guys aren't going to. You're demonstrating you don't know how to handle your affairs, because your affairs start at your house, then they go to your village, and then they go to your county. Nobody in your county is telling you. If the sheriff ain't sending you down there to have a talk with them, don't go. You're part of the good people of Virginia. You're the militia, and the militia doesn't go unless needed. And who would send you down there would be the sheriff. The governor's called up his tyrants. All these people are being paid, man, and they do. The tyrants are there. Northrup's got everybody there who's willing to down to the level of clean the shit up that you excrete onto the ground. You know, if worst case and that becomes a killing field, they're just gonna render everything there. You think they're gonna bother cleaning it up? They'll take something like a finger or something, get identifications, and they're just gonna render it. You're gonna be rendered. That governor had discussed on WTOP radio the birthing of an infant, a child, a soul, and then sitting there saying he doesn't want the government involved, but him as a professional would discuss it with the mother and decide what they're going to do with the property. And it includes harvesting. That's unconscionable. At that point, that governor should have been withdrawn. Now, I'm guilty too of laziness. I didn't go see investigating, but I don't think there's a recall capability other than at that point, the Virginia legislative body fell on deaf ears and did not convene under emergency to remove that governor. That is crazy town talk. He's talking about rendering souls. Now, this guy is willing to do that to an infant who's defenseless. Why do you think he wants you defenseless and in his cage? He's going to render you. You're his opposition. You're going to, in 2020, vote against his agenda. Everybody who's going down there on the Virginia Defense League, he views you as committing insurrection because you're gathering when he says it's an emergency. And you guys are gathering to say that you're not going to follow the laws that he's enacting. So you're going to ignore the ordinances and the code and do what you want. Well, he doesn't care because they're passing a new code and they're bringing in people from out of state to prosecute you. The fight is on 81. The fight is on anywhere where BATF, DOJ, or the state police are going to be pulling over you in your counties, you in your villages, and they think they're going to go through your stuff and you're going to have to answer for it, and they're going to have backup, federal backup, and you're not going to resist. The executions are going to occur on the highways. That's the fight that's coming. Not down in Richmond. Richmond is a staged event, just like the FBI grabbing some goddamn point. Another point. So the FBI, the governor says we have credible intelligence because he's working. The fusion center is for the DOJ is in Richmond. We have the Justice Department Fusion Center in Richmond, along with the Federal Reserve of Richmond. It's in Richmond. Richmond. He doesn't care if the counties say they're not going to obey the code. The counties that want to are being given permission so that they can interdict when you drive through their county. Those counties are going to be able to say no concealed carry. They're going to be able to say, okay, if you got concealed carry, you can't have it in our county. They're going to be able to disassociate you from your concealed carry permit. It's a conundrum. They can issue them, and they can at the same time say you can't use it. That's what's going on because they're already doing it in the capital of Richmond. In Richmond, they say it doesn't matter if you have a concealed carry. We say so, no go. And we're giving the counties the right. So the Code of Virginia will force the county sheriff and force the county judge to issue this concealed carry, but then you go walk out the door, you can't use it in that county. That's coming. Point. The attack is at the local level. that we have to deal with. Going to Richmond and voluntarily getting into a cage is stupid. And the cage is not just that cage down there on the state. The information, the intel that's out there is we know that it's ringed. And they have it staged out for different areas. And believe me, they're hoping to grab people bringing guns into the area, and they're gonna do exactly what they did to those people. The FBI did after Governor Northam goes, I have information from my law enforcement minions that there are credible intelligence that there's bad people. No, you're winning, sir. Right. The bad intentions is the governor. He plans on stealing your property. He plans on taking your children. He plans on killing you. You are a donation unit, and since you don't donate to him, he's going to use his donation units to render you. You're going to be rendered. You know what a wet dream it would be if I was a tyrant? To have my opposition gather in a cage with all my loyal henchmen around you with full M60 machine guns. Do you think that's what they're going to use? That's a side street operation. They're not going to take that into a crowd. They're going to take that and grab people on the side streets if anything. That's for grabbing people not in the cage. That's a murder unit. That's a pop out murder, move on. They're not going to take you into there and move and go else. That's a deploy, retract, deploy, retract, deploy, move till it's disabled. If they're practicing deploying that and rolling that back and abandoning the guys behind that screen, ha ha, and that looks like up top a place to put a gun and shoot you. So I imagine they have the ability to shoot from behind that shield. So buckshot. That ruined my day, man. That set me off, Buckshot. You set me off today. I was content waiting for a phone call. My plan for today was to sit here, diddle around, because I'm gonna program my Stream Deck a little bit deeper. I barely have time to do. There's just so many chores, so much in the way of chores. I have so much work, so much chores. Everybody who's anybody who knows the future is doing everything they can to scramble, to prepare, and to position yourself. You know, you got to get ready. You got to be watching. I've got so much going on. It's just impossible. So, like, sitting down and doing the Stream Deck. Let's see. I can either read my news or do the Stream Deck. Read my news, do the stream, or talk to you, Buckshot. Or talk to the world in general. But another point. So this governor says, hey, blah, blah, blah. And the FBI conveniently waddles up, and this is out of the north. This is the Northern Justice Department did it. Well, we captured 2 Americans and 1 Canadian. And by the way, they're charging one of them with harboring an alien. Excuse me? You have areas in Harrisonburg, Virginia, where churches harbor aliens who are here illegally, and you're not charging those people with that crime. Equal weights and measures. So, you know, it just shows we live at the barrel of the gun at all levels here. Anyway, so Donald Trump, who's supposed to be in charge of the DOJ, is coordinating with the governor of Virginia to round up all the people who voted for Donald Trump. So Donald Trump is cooperating with, in Virginia, the governor who is going to round up all the voters for him. Now, that's only a few of them. And those people sacrificing themselves is not going to help us. because we need people who are going to be caring about their home, caring about their village, caring about their town, caring about their city, and caring about their county. Up the chain. That's where you should be. You should be doing this, and going disarmed into Richmond to be slaughtered is not valuable to anybody. First thing you're doing is you are disobeying God's commandment to protect your gift that He gave you, and willingly walk into the cage of the wolf is dishonoring to God. You should be thanking God for the fact that you have your weapons. You should be thanking God that you have your store of food. You should be praying with your family and thanking Him for the preparations, and then live your lives locally. If you have a Democrat, you got to vote him out, or you just put up signs in your county telling him he's not welcome here anymore. Go to his house. Go to that delegate's house. Take a vigil there and protest him. Tell him to leave. Because Antifa does not have a problem going to Republicans' representatives' houses and calling them scum. It's local. You have Democratic congressmen from Virginia in your sanctuary county. You need to surround their house and show them the force. Virginia Defense League, you should be lobbying them not in Richmond, but at their houses. Go to their houses, Virginia Defense League. They're coming to your house. They're passing code and going to use ordinances and codes to come to your house and show you who's in charge, one at a time. Well, your fight is a local fight, Virginia Defense League. It's not down there in Richmond. Send empty buses. Send empty buses. That's all. And the data points continue on and on and on and on and on. I mean, come on. Big data point. Alex Jones showing up. Big data point. Alex should go there. Let him run his pie hole. Let him stand out there and take pictures of all the criminals who show up. Don't go, Virginia Defense League. Send empty buses. Pay for empty buses. You bought the buses. Tell the bus driver to go down there. And then let the police come back on the buses. Send the bus down there with a representative to say, hey, we're here to pick up our congressman or our senator and bring them back to our county. Come on, guy. Come on. Get on the bus. Let's go back. We got to talk. This bus has been sent we're sending these buses down there for the legislative body to get on, each one of them. Go back to their respective counties. Go back to your respective areas. If you have a sanctuary county, Virginia Defense League, you should be lobbying those people in their houses at this point. They put up a fence so you can't lobby them there in Richmond. Make them put up fences at their houses. Make the governor deploy to each one of their houses. Make them bring the fight to us, not to them. We don't go to the bully's place. We control the bully. Make the bully spread out. He's getting you guys all to come together. He's bringing you to a killing field. There's too many data points. Richmond is not it. You want to go there? Fine. Go on down there. Get what you get. The state troopers all have what the state trooper from Virginia called into the Alex Jones radio show. And that state trooper said, point blank, you get what you deserve, because Section 6 says there are free elections, and since you registered to vote, you are now consenting to be governed. You are being consented. You are consenting to being governed. That's why they register you to vote. Free elections aren't registered. Free elections is you walk up there to the town square and you cast your vote verbally, so everybody in the town knows what you want. Believe me, if everybody does an open vote and everybody can write down, oh, Tom Smith says he's for communism. Well, okay. We outvoted him for communism. There's the fight. It's local. You don't have to do business with him. He thinks that the fact that you were industrious, he wants to redistribute your stuff because he is morally superior to you. Well, at least you know where you stand with your neighbor. You don't live in a free elected society. You live in a communism. And this is set up by the oligarchy communal system. The oligarchs are the good people. They're the ones in control. Northam's an oligarch. He's in charge. The oligarch is getting you to agree to show him that you're going to lick his boots. Because you're licking his boot before you walk into that prison. You're licking it. You are a supplicant. You're willingly getting on your knees. Willingly getting on your knees when you walk down there. Virginia Defense League, I can't say it enough. Send an empty bus. Get your work done? Oh, man. I'm going to. I have a plan for today. I have a plan. Yeah. My first, I have an appointment at 11. Then I have an appointment at 12:30. And then I have an appointment at 3. So it continues on until I come back and go to bed. So I am getting my work done. This has to be put out by somebody. Somebody has to be in Virginia with a sane mind and explain to Virginia Defense League followers that they should not go. They should worry about their house, worry about your village, worry about your town, worry about your city, worry about your county. You guys should all gather down at your county level. If you want to muster Virginia Defense League, muster at the bus station. Everybody wave to the bus. Send it down there. You're giving, it's already paid for. The governor is ecstatic. Believe me, if anybody was a fly on the wall in the governor's mansion, just imagine Mr. Burns sitting there going, yes. They pay for me imprisoning them. And it's even better. They paid for their own transport down to the prison. So they bought the transport for me, and they're coming on in. They're coming to my prison, and they're all going to go into my prison, and they're going to show me their strength. That's not strength. Strength is up here, baby. The numbers are up here. You know what kind of message would be sent if you don't show up, Virginia Defense League, and you just send those buses empty? Virginia Defense League, don't go. If you guys want to rally, each one of you guys should rally wherever the buses are. All sit there and say, hey, look, we're sending empty buses. Thank you. I'm so sorry. If you really have to get on the bus, I wish you would not go. There is no point in you going down there to show the governor that you are a slave. He's giving you permission to go there, go through his guard tower and into his prison. He has with the force of arms taken over the state capitol. The state capitol represents the good people of Virginia who chose representatives. The governor the executive branch has now taken over the People's House of Virginia. He's in control of the People's House of Virginia, not the legislators of Virginia. See, the Virginia legislators, if they had any cojones, they would tell the governor, no, you don't have the right to encircle us with a fence. No. Every Republican, except for Emmert Hanger, you stay there with the Democrats. Don't come back to Augusta County. You stayed over there in Democrat land. I don't know what went wrong in your mind where you thought that voting outside of freedom, voting for slavery was going to work. that doesn't work. You broke my heart, Emmett. You broke a lot of people's heart. But also, there's a great sentiment up and down North River that they expected you to do it. They expected you to do what you did. They just expected it. I don't know why you did it. You could have kept the ruse going a little bit longer. Your honesty, well, that's not honest. Trespassing on your neighbor is not honest. You're destroying every one of the Bill of Rights when you vote to get in the middle of individuals and their transactions and their associations. You know, people get a business license, they're voluntarily becoming subordinate to the code. That's what the business license is for. You're voluntarily becoming an arm of the state with certain privileges and certain restrictions. And you know that, Emmett. You know all this. Here, Emmett, this is for you. That's Emmett's favorite deal. If you're talking to Emmett and he sticks his tongue out at you, he's letting you know. Well, we'll be 8 feet high? Well, it could still be overrun. But that's a prison, dude. And it's a chain link. So everybody on the outside could shoot in. It's the killing field. It's literally a barrel with no water in it that you can shoot through. It's a... That's what they're going to be doing. You know, I kind of like this. I don't know. I wonder if the Gatling gun, if they tried moving the wheel around, or they just said, hey, we'll just do it this way because that's the easiest thing to do. That or as fast as they can pull a trigger, boom, 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 boom. If anybody is in the killing field, there won't be a misfire. Maybe you might lead them less if they're a child, right? But it's the killing field. They'll be able to fire, and each round will hit something. You're standing in front of a firing squad. The fence has already been put up. They've already put the fence up. Right here. Open and link. There it is. That's their fence. You're looking at the killing field. Yeah, go ahead and get in your killing field. Now, here's some irony. They're actually going to see. There's the high ground. So they put up a fence around Robert E. Lee, which they're going to take down eventually. So they're protecting the high ground with more fence. It's the way it's going to roll, baby. Roll, baby, roll. Roll, baby, roll. Virginia Defense League, don't go down there. You know, pray to God and thank Him for all the things that we have, and thank Him for the opportunity to have those things to do work in His name. God does not want you to go down there and die. God does not want you to show a tyrant He is in charge. The governor says, yeah, come and show me all your rights. Come on. Here, show me. Yes. Yes, you have a right. Go ahead and you have rights. Just go ahead. That governor is Mr. Burns. He's laughing at you. You pay for the transportation to go down to his prison, and then you show him how much strength you have. You don't think State Trooper Willard said that when it comes to shooting you, because you broke the law, he doesn't have a problem. But he's also told you that it's foreign troops are going to be down there who are going to shoot you. It's not, the state troopers are going to be there. The state troopers are going to give protection to the foreign troops who are there to shoot you. Giving me agenda, just thinking about this. Angina? I don't. Angina. 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 I am so medically ignorant. Angina pectoris, commonly known as angina, is the sensation of chest pain, pressure, or squeezing, often due to not enough blood flow to the heart muscle as a result of obstruction or spasm of the coronary arteries. God damn it. Who would have known? Today's episode is brought to you by angina. Well, I'm sorry, Buckshot. You know, I'm sorry you're getting angina. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I can't do nothing about it. It's just kind of the way it is. I want to put on intermission for a few minutes. Buckshot, thank you for coming. I'm sorry about your angina. Take some, is that why people take nitroglycerin? Does that help? Bar Raider, remote recording stop, start, set. Oh yeah. NDI. I've been reading up on NDI as a technology in here, and I'm going to switch my surveillance over to NDI. And I've been writing a program for that to control all this. That NDI is something cool. I'll take an aspirin. I'm sorry that if you're really having a chest pain, I'm so sorry. But this has to be said. I owe it to God. In my servitude, and thanks to God, there are certain things I've got to tell my fellow man. I see somebody walking beside me in Washington, D.C., and they're looking down on their phone, and I've got the right of way to walk, and so do they. But they've glanced up to see the right of way, and I'm starting to walk, and there's a car that's not stopping. I will put my arm out to stop you. I'm going to do exactly what my parents did and other people's parents did when I was a child, because I drove around in cars with no seatbelts, and they'd stick their hand out to let you know that they were going to slow down and to brace. So whenever you saw an adult sticking their arm out to keep the person next to him, to let them know, the next person next to him knew to get ready for the accident, man. That's just normal. Just normal. Now, okay, I got to add a scene. And I got to create the scene here in sources for intermission. Wah, wah, wah. And it's the timer. I want to set up a timer for intermission. It's all good. Yeah, well, thank you, Buckshot. Yes, we are the good people. It is all good. Governor Northam does not use the word good people. All right. So, if for those who are tuning in, you can dial in 712-775-7465, and then the participant code is 365-881. Call in. Participate. I want to hear your thoughts. I'd actually like to hear I will listen in earnest if I disagree with you, but then I will speak. Just like I listen to people who tell me, well, you know, it's not rational for someone to have more than one rifle. Okay. Sell me on why it's irrational to have more than one rifle. I'll listen. And I don't have to respond to you. And if I don't respond to you, don't get afraid of me. Just realize that sometimes you just take what Mama told me to say. You got nothing nice to say, just don't say nothing anyway. I'll tell you, no, there's a reason you should have more than one rifle. There's a reason you should have so much ammunition that when you die, it would fund your funeral if they had to sell it. There's a reason. You have the right to property, and you should have certain property, and that's what this is all about, is the ultimate property right. It's your soul. And if you go down to Richmond and get in that cage, you've given your soul over to another man. You haven't given your soul to God. You've given it to another man. You are no longer able to protect the gifts that God gave you when you wantonly go walking into the prison. So I'm going to take a break. I'll be back probably 5 minutes or so. I'm sorry for all you people with weak hearts. It's a good thing you're not going, it's a good thing that you're taking aspirin and you got nitroglycerin, or you're just kind of making a point that it is heartbreaking. My heart is broken, Emmett Hanger. You broke my heart. I know you've always, kind of looked sideways at all these people that you represent now. They've entrusted you, and you betrayed them. And they're not going to let you. They're not going to let you run against in the primaries and win. They're going to take the primary away from you. Your seat is going to be occupied either through the Democrat side or through the Republican side by somebody who's freedom-loving. Yes, we're sending a wolf into the Democrat Party. And we're going to run, they're going to run in the primaries, and we're going to make sure that Democrats don't vote you in the primary again. So you're going to have to run you're going to be running up against real Republicans this next primary. We're running the show. Democrats can't do anything about it. All we have to do is register as Democrat and run in the primaries. And then we go out there and talk and put out all the information, and we do exactly what Joan Behart told Democrats to do when they ran for office. Don't tell them you're going to take the guns while you're running for office. Lie to them. Tell them you won't talk about that issue. It's not on the table. Gun control is not on the table. It's not an issue. We're not talking about it. Or, well, I'm not going to take your guns, because they're bad people. With that in mind, Emmett, forewarned is foreinformed is forewarned. What is that a lot of people say? Notice to your supplicant, or to your notice to agent is notice to principal. Notice to agent is notice to principal. Bum, 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 bum. Waiting for the sun. Welcome, Bayonet. Welcome to the show today. I'm glad we have the Doors in common, because they have a plan, and their plan is to open the door and let you in. Keep knocking. They're going to let you in. This picture, courtesy of Buckshot. Appreciate it, Buckshot. Call in today is 712-775-7465, and a participant code is 365881. Call in. I want to hear what you have to say. Join the show. Dancing Toaster. What the hell? Oh, pop goes the wheeze. Yeah, that's the Gatling gun. Do. So, while I was doing my constitutionals, I got to thinking, and got a meeting with the Virginia Defense League here at noon today, afternoon. And I can't believe that they're still telling their members to go down. Now, if you're going to pull a stunt, you got to disseminate the information in the morning or at the buses. Because if you put out the notice saying, hey, we're not going to show up, then, you know, they might believe you, might not believe you. But you shouldn't put it into their mindscape. But it would be something else if you can coordinate it where everybody rallies down there where the buses are. You say, hey, look, we're sending the bus empty because it's not really a rally for us. It's not our terms. We're going down there disarmed, getting in a cage, and protesting and trying to lobby somebody. We're lobbying them? You're not lobbying them. You're proving that you're good slaves, that you understand how the prison system works. It's a voluntary roundup. You're voluntarily going to the roundup. Well, Bayonet, you're blowing your top. I am intentionally keeping a cool mind about this. This is back in the day. I can tell you, two things were going on back in the day. We mobilized around Ruby Ridge. We were mobilized around Waco. And we allowed them to take control of the narrative last time. The communists took control. Bill Clinton took control. Right now, the governor of Virginia is taking control. The communist governor of Virginia is taking control of the narrative. So we have to take back control of the narrative because we have options. We don't have to go down there and get in his cage, because what better thing to do than to arrest everybody who voted for Trump? Oh my God, look, they're taking pictures of you. Now, here's the best case scenario. All you Virginia Defense League guys, they don't need to actually go get into the membership. They don't have to get the membership. Everybody who goes down there is a squeaky wheel. And your guys are willing to be prisoners, so he knows that through the high-tech, through every ounce of video that they do, they'll have a database and last known address, and then they'll be using the hijacking of the cell phones and targeting you. So all these people going down there with their chip, their Black Mirror, are going to be known to the group of people who have seized control of the State House of Virginia. State House of Virginia is under martial law. Virginia is under martial law right now. You know, using the word emergency doesn't change the fact that what had happened was that the laws have been suspended. He suspended the laws. He suspended the code. He has suspended it. So it's martial law. So it's law at the point of a gun. And the governor of Virginia, backed by the people who produce these wonderful tools for people to use. And by the way, it has a secondary attachment sitting there. What do you think that attachment does? What is that attachment in front? It has different attachments up front that they can switch. You see that? It came with attachments there. I didn't notice that until now. So, man, don't blow your top there, Bayonet. Take care of your house. Take care of your village. Take care of your town. Take care of your city. Take care of your county. Get prepared, because Donald Trump tweeted the other day, and he mentioned in his tweet with little remorse that When Democrats get elected, they take away the guns. Now, Donald Trump has the authority to say, look, I have the job to guarantee.
What do you think one of, if not the biggest, existential threat to mankind is?
I have the authority to guarantee a Republican form of government, and these people are taking away your guns. That's in violation of the Republican form of government. Second Amendment says what it says. I don't need anybody else to turn me. People in the Black Rose are committing sedition when they say that there's limits to the word shall not. Yeah, the limit is shall not. Period. That's the limit. You're not allowed to infringe on the people right to keep and bear arms. That's it. Donald Trump right there acknowledges that he knows that it's being violated by seditious people. And as President of the United States, he has a pin like Governor Northam has a fucking pin to arrest everybody who followed his orders. To arrest them all. He's committed a crime. The governor of Virginia has now put a barrel of gun at every Virginian's head and said, if you don't do what my agent tells you to do, you could be dispatched with extreme prejudice. That's what that means. Dispatched with extreme prejudice. The suspending laws. It's been done. Or the execution of laws. Suspending laws, execution of laws, without the consent of the representatives of the people, ought not to be exercised. But it's being exercised. And not all the representatives of the people agreed. And this is my transmission to all you representatives, other than Emmett Hanger. Emmett, Emmett, you're just going to have to come out and say that you're a Democrat. You have to do it. There's no home for you in the Republican Party as far as I'm concerned. Not my say-so, but a lot of people think like I do. You know, you're going to have a hard time. You know, your funding could just dry up. But anyway, maybe nobody will come and work on your house. Maybe when you bring your cows to auction, somebody will say no. With that in mind, if I was a Republican representative, at this point, you can't go to the State House. It's been seized by the executive. It's been seized by the people who consider themselves the sovereigns. There's 3 sovereigns in Virginia. It's the good people. Oh, I see. I'm done. Ooh. Dang. Thanks, Bayonet, for the heads up. But guess what? This conference call is being recorded. So everything I'm doing here on DLive is going to discs in areas all around the world. Thanks, Buckshot. I wish you didn't put that doggy thing. I don't like that. Okay. To Joe Pesci. Okay. The guy who plays the realist in Die Hard, Joe Pesci is a true actor. I believed his character in Die Hard, and for the scumminess it was, and I believed his character in Goodfellas. Joe Pesci is a good actor. I also like Joe Pesci. He held together the role with Robert De Niro and Pacino in that movie. Those two suck. They are the worst. You get Pacino, you get fucking... They're not actors, they're characters. They're full-time character. They're caricatures. Climb to 30,000 and wait for orders. Dude, we're flying hard. So anyway, what has to happen, VL, Virginia Defense League, I'm going to say it again.
You need to send the buses empty. Plan on sending the buses empty. And then go rally around the different houses of the representatives that you were going to lobby. Now, if you're not a sanctuary county, I would not do that. I would, as a sanctuary county, I would just keep my eyeballs on a non-sanctuary county. Just keep your eyeballs on your council. That's who you guys need to deal with. You need to deal with your council, your town, and your cities. That's who you need to be eyeballing. The non-sanctuary counties, that's who you eyeball. As long as Donald Trump has a pen, he can do two things. He can say, you know what, Virginia, any county that wants to, I proclaim they're allowed to go to West Virginia, because that's all that's needed at this point. The Virginia legislative body has come to the dance here in Virginia, and they've taken off their hat and they've curtsied to us. And they say, you're welcome. And now it's up to Donald Trump as the band leader of Republicans in the sanctuary, because the people who voted in the sanctuary counties are the same ones who are going to vote for Donald Trump in 2020 election. And they're going to take out any Republican that they can at this, any Democrat that they can. I don't know if they're going to be able to take control of the electoral system, because that's under the control of the judiciary. But the Virginia judiciary is cracked. And the reason I say it's been cracked is because Governor Northam has had to say, okay, we're going to prosecute felonies with guns at the federal level, which takes it out of the hands of all the local Commonwealth attorneys. So the Commonwealth attorneys when they said that they're not going to prosecute that stuff, and the DOJ already knew that because they have profiles on everybody. In November 19th, 2019, they announced the deal. And it's the Guardian deal, Guardian DMV, and they plan on using the roads. That's what that's all about. But anyway, they're going to prosecute all gun crimes, all weapon crimes at the federal level. So that's anybody who's in Richmond now, and you get arrested and you get a felony, you're not going to the circuit court. You're going to the federal court. You're going and more than likely it's not going to be the court in Richmond, not the court. It could be the court in Northern Virginia, and it's not. And it could be the court in Charlottesville. But in all odds, they're going to take you out of the jurisdiction of Virginia into Maryland and do it in the Maryland federal court, because the Department of Justice, who's running the operation Guardian DMV, is not part of the Richmond Fusion Center. It's part of the Baltimore Fusion Center. The Montgomery County, Baltimore Regional Fusion Center. And it includes the Metro Fusion Center. That's who's going to be taking that right now, according to their paperwork, and it's my best educated guess based on my 8th grade education I received from Fairfax County, Virginia. My ability to read and comprehend things says that they're going to be bringing you, in all reality, to Maryland to prosecute you for a federal crime. And once you get put into a federal prison, you could be shipped anywhere in the United States. So the Democrat end of the Department of Justice, and they obviously have control of parts of it now, and Donald can't do nothing about it. He hasn't fired him. He hasn't brought in Steve Pieczenik to do the firing. Steve Pieczenik, Robert Steele, people with the mind and the willpower and the past experience have all volunteered to Donald to say, look, Donald, I'll do it. Donald, you can bring me in. I don't need a fancy law education like the one from Harvard or the one I get from Jurisdictionary to be able to run a show. All I got to do is say, okay, Donald, thank you, give me full power. I bring in 5 people who I know will follow orders. They don't have to be lawyers. They just have to follow orders. And the orders are, okay, we start the screening and we're firing everybody. So everything is in frozen mode. We're firing everybody. You're getting an ankle bracelet. Anybody you do speak to will be monitored at this point. And we're going to process you. And we're going to find out whether or not you could be brought in to the Justice Department, if we're going to keep it. If we're going to even keep the FBI. We don't need to. We're going to turn all your cases over to the local jurisdictions that you're playing in. So, local jurisdictions, get ready for a flood of crap. But hey, it's coming your way. And all you FBI informants, no mas on the dealio. All you have a FBI agreement, Justice Department agreement, no mas, no more. It doesn't exist. You're getting an ankle bracelet. No, we're not going to arrest you and then stick you on national television to say that Donald Trump's the liar when you've been proven a liar by Nunes. No, that shit ain't going to happen. It's over. There is no rights when you commit sedition. You're now a prisoner. Donald needs to run his pen the way the governor of Virginia has. Because if that governor of Virginia is able to get away with what he's doing in Virginia, they're going to do that on the federal level. What Hillary Clinton was going to do on the federal level is exactly what is going on in Virginia. And anything that they didn't vote on this week doesn't mean they're not going to vote on it before the end of the next session. It's coming. Count on it. It is coming. It's coming like a freight train like you don't know. They're going to ram it through at the last second. They can call an emergency session in June and pass everything the night before July. And then the governor signs it, and in July it becomes law. They can do whatever they want. He's in total control. Right now, the governor can convene. He's taken possession of the State House. He controls people going in and out, and that's the end of it. It's martial law. So the communists have taken full control of Richmond. They're daring anybody to come in there without a gun and pick a fight. So, if you live in the counties of Virginia and you're part of the group that thinks they're going there, you should rethink it. You're not going there. Don't go there. There's nothing going on there. A bully has dared you to come fight him on his school property. And he's not just any bully he's not a prisoner. He's the warden. So a warden pretending he's a prisoner has dared you to come fight him. You're not going to change anybody's mind going down there. Let Alex Jones show up there. No bus is coming in. Look, Alex Jones is going to go down there and yell at him. Alex Jones is going to show all this shit that's going on. This stuff's already being disseminated on Facebook and other places. Let it go. The Virginia Defense League. Let it go. I'm going to beat this horse until it is nothing but a stain on the earth. This horse is going to disappear under my beating. There won't be any more horse. You won't even know that there was a horse there. It'll be ground. It looked like, oh my God, it's just ready for planting. I'm going to render this horse into the ground. I'm going to beat it into the ground. I have 2 days to communicate this order of attack throughout the Virginia Defense League. And it's an order of attack. It's escaping. We want to be in control of the battlefield. We had control of the battlefield until they told you there is no battlefield. I dare you to show up. There's no battlefield in Richmond. The battlefield in Richmond is 100% controlled by the Communist Party. And it's the Communist Party that would have, when Hillary was going to be elected, be doing the exact same thing. And instead of this going on here in Virginia, this would have been going on the federal level. And the states were not prepared. Now, they've been forced to do this at the state level, and we have states all over this united country that are Second Amendment sanctuary counties. They're going up everywhere. Our fight is local. All politics is local. Take control of the delegates' houses that are the communists. They're going to arrest you, but right now you don't have to arrest them. You can actually make them leave the counties. If they don't live in the county, they can't vote against you in the secret vote. Control it. Control the counties. That's where it's at. It's control the house, control the village, control the town, control the city. But you first start it with your home. That's your area. Meet with your neighbors. Control the area with your neighbors. Then you guys send delegates to the next level. You delegate somebody up the chain and work your way to and you got local communities will send a delegate to the sheriff. A 5-man fire squad, a 5-man team, a 3-man team. Whatever you guys have, you choose one of them that will be your point to the sheriff. And that guy who goes to the sheriff doesn't have to tell the sheriff who's under his control. All he does is say, Sheriff, I need 3 badges. Sheriff, I need 4 badges. Give me the badge numbers. I'll communicate. After I get the badge numbers, I will communicate the information to you. In other words, you deputize them and then send it up to the sheriff, the information. Bring the information back to them. But you get badges. And they go ahead and disseminate them. Virginia Defense League. Right now, your conversation is no longer with the delegates down there in Richmond. They're not going to be there. They can't go in there armed. You can't go in there armed. You can't talk to them. The governor took control of the battle space. The battle's not there. That is, you're not going in there. You're not defending anything with your mouth. You're a Palestinian at that point, and you have all the rights of a Palestinian. Just go look at the Palestinians in the fenced-off areas where they go they have to fly kites on fire with Molotov cocktails. They go up and they throw rocks over the fence, and then the same people, the same mentality, who are in Richmond right now, working for the governor, they're there, ready to shoot you for throwing a rock, for flying a kite. No drones, no staffs, no shields, no flags. And if you don't think there won't be black bag operations going on in the streets of Richmond, you're out of your mind. You're down there, how are you going to defend your house? They get a picture of you. They got multi-jurisdictional task force that is all through Virginia, ready to operate all throughout Virginia. They're ready to turn off your phones. They're ready to block things. If the military is able to turn off your phones, they're going to be able to communicate with their troops. Don't forget, a uniformed Army officer walked into the Congress and said, "We're in charge, Donald Trump is bad, impeach him, and he should go to jail." A uniformed officer of the Army walked into the Congress and said, hi, I'm Colonel so-and-so. I'm only a colonel. I'm Ukrainian. My parents came over here, and they're not red diaper babies, and I'm not a red diaper babies, but all my actions are Bolshevik communism, trying to capture back my Bolshevik control of the Ukraine. So they were here, and they had to activate Vindman. The Bolsheviks had to activate Vindman into the United States Army, and then stick them in there into the Ukraine to try to get the communists back in control of Ukraine. And we're vilifying Vladimir Putin, who removed the Bolsheviks, who's part of the purging of Bolsheviks. Yeah, man, pay attention to the battle space. And that shit's going on here in Virginia. So there's a whole group of people. Donald Trump, what guarantee do we have that he has control over the Navy? What proof? Now, there was an alarming thing that occurred. There's my ex, the spot. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see. Hal Turner JPEG. Right here, Office of Chief Management Officer. Donald Trump used a drone and wiped out the general of the Iranian army. The Iranian Red Army retaliated by killing the people who sent the drone. This is in response to a January 10th Freedom of Information Act appeal concerning Iran's missile strike on U.S. AIN al-Assad Air Base in Iraq on January 8th and its subsequent damages and casualties. This is another point. This is a point. Why going to Richmond should never occur. Richmond should be a dud. Richmond, nobody who is a gun owner in Virginia should travel to Richmond. You should all, if you want to do something, go to your representative's house, take a sign and say, I know where you live, you know where I live, you're not taking my property. The Bible says no trespassing. They're trespassing on the good people of Virginia. Stand up and tell them that you're not going to tolerate a trespass. You send them a letter. You send a letter to the clerk of each one of the houses saying, I do not, as one of the good people of Virginia, I do not consent to the trespass that is incurring. And you can even put, Lord, do not forgive them, for they know what they are doing. You inform the agent. Information to agent is information to principal. And if you guys would all send letters that explains to him that, hey, as one of the good people of Virginia exercising your sovereignty, you're not consenting to their trespass. And that's what this is. It's a trespass. They're trespassing on what God gave you. God gave you the gift of teeth, fingernails, the use of force to repel violence. And the people we entrusted to take care of the wards of our state are turning their guns on us, the good people of Virginia, because the wards of the state, yeah, they need to be taken care of. That's why we instituted mind control. We, the good people of Virginia, recognize we have all these rights in order to protect ourselves from the bad people of Virginia. We allow them to be wards of the state. And here's the clause in the Virginia Constitution that says wards of the state. Section 6. This is every one of the good people of Virginia have the right to declare themselves voluntarily in service as a ward of the representatives. But at any time, your representative could be overruled by the suspension of the laws or by other representatives. And that's what's happened. You right now, as one of the people suffering suffrage, you volunteered for it. State Trooper Willard knows this. And the briefing I'm giving all of you is the briefing they've all had. In other words, they've explained to them, here's the situation. We did not teach any of these assholes law. Everybody can know and understand everything necessary to do any job, anything within mind control by 8th grade. Instead, we repeatedly break them. And because we don't teach truth, you have to repeat the lie until it's ad nauseum. And since they're teaching lies, the lies change. So you have to constantly teach a new lie in contradiction to the old lie. And it doesn't come naturally. It takes 22 years. It takes 26 years to become so indoctrinated that you'll go along with PhD. Now, all you people who try to break against it and claim that, well, you know, I have the badge of PhD, but I'm not, you know, I'm not double-minded. Well, the fact that you talk about your badge of PhD is the double-mindedness, because you're all controlled by the Royal Institution out of London. It's the Fabian Socialists. Rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole. It's the wolf wearing a sheep's skin, and it's the slow, steady pace. And they've been marching. The Fabians have been marching in control of America since the Jacobin revolutions. So right here, following detailed examination of U.S. AIN Al-Assad or AN Al-Assad Air Base by DOD Special Investigative Team, concluding estimates are as follows. And lays it out. And it's done by James P. Hogan. Now, that is a military signature. It is a military personality. In other words, first name, middle initial, last name. Donald J. Trump. This guy works for you. Chief DOD FOIA Policy. Office of Information Policy, OIP. United States Department of Justice. Office of FOIA. Anybody wants to, you guys can call, you can look this guy up and verify this information. Okay? Now, 910 Defense Pentagon, Washington, D.C. This could be a fraud, right? Is it a fraud? Find out. But it's very interesting. Donald Trump still chose not to act. Smart move. He did not take military and dump them in there. Now, we don't know where the 82nd Airborne is. Everybody who's following the order of the governor at this point has to look at the next part of the battlescape. This is the what ifs. And that has to be looked at. Everybody who goes in there, into that cage, find themselves being mowed down by the people outside the cage. And at that point, Airborne has been practicing, and they're flying missions right now over protected airspace, fully trooped. So there is a part of the Army that is working with the Air Force on C-130s. You're not seeing them on the civilian scopes any longer. FAA is now taking all of Richmond, Newport News out to the water and taking it black. It's off screen, and it's off screen until after the event on Monday. FAA closes airspace. So we have C-130s flying in with Airborne. Donald Trump mobilized the 82nd Airborne during this facade over in Iraq, over this part of the Kafifi. The worldwide politics, WWP. Worldwide conflict. Donald did not get suckered into it. He said, bullshit. We didn't have any, we did what we weren't going to do. We got rid of the guy. He never said Obama, but that guy had direct ties with Hillary Clinton and the Purple Tie Gang and Barack Obama. We severed the head of a militant Muslim group that Obama was working with. Period, in a sentence. Now, we know the Purple Tie Gang runs both sides of the game. We know that the Purple Tie Gang has people who are being sent to dress up and pretend they are something they are not. They are mustering for that out of Culpeper, Virginia. We know that. So we have people who are going to dress up and deploy in a battlescape scenario up in Culpeper, Warrenton, Front Royal. That is, they're going to be operating within the I-66 to I-81 corridor. That is very important. You should pay attention to that. Virginia Defense League, that's what you should be rallying on now, is watching those people. And if you guys haven't signed up to be crisis actors, woe unto you not to know. Should have been sent. The Virginia Defense League, you should be sending your operatives into the fray. You don't have to deploy to Richmond, but you should be deploying to find out who it is, taking pictures of each one of the people participating and not participate. In other words, change your mind after you get your briefing. No, I don't want to go do that. No, because they do kill crisis actors. You are the frontline fodder for those who took $250. Yeah, $250 to dress up as somebody who deserves to be shot by the governor of Virginia. Right, that's the way to go. As far as if you dress up, shame on you. Anyway, the battlescape. It is, well, Antifa is coming. They're coming in as white nationalists. I don't know why. Why are they coming? Because Antifa, all insurgents. Now, Antifa is what's called an insurgent. All insurgents are backed by government. Why are they coming? Buckshot, I welcome you to call in and explain that to me. Maybe why is a rhetorical question mark, because I don't know. I don't want to destroy what I have. I want to be prosperous. I want to go to the stars. I know that we have enough people to carry 7 to 12 billion people on this planet, and we're nowhere near carrying capacity. The only reason there's carrying capacity is that we have exchanges, middlemen, who don't share. We have people in charge of governments that take away food from other people. We have Madeleine Albright to withhold medicine because destroying the Iraqi people, how dare they try to be a first world nation? Those Iraqis. What? Libya wants to be a first world nation and build one of the great wonders of this earth? No. We're going to destroy it. And it's the middlemen who are in between all transactions that are destroying our world. They destroy it. And they really believe that if there is unity towards prosperity, not through this cult of socialism, which is a religion. It's a religious cult. Socialism is a religious cult, and you need to do some research onto what a cult is, and you need to know what a religion means, and a religion is the fasci bound tightly. So, bound tightly to something. You have faith in it. That's fine. You don't know, you just believe. Fine. And these people believe without knowing, and when you try to enlighten them, to try to give them knowledge, they fight you tooth and nail. They're fanatics, they're religious drones, they're cults following a personality. With that in mind, Donald Trump, right now, with a stroke of a pen, can say, I give the order to go in, 82nd Airborne, surround and control Richmond. And then he sends in special forces whose job it is, well, to set up a new government. That's what, all of a sudden you'll see a general appear in the State House, dismantle everything, and then set up a new government. That's a Republican form of government in Virginia. And we'll have Section 6 free elections where we go to the town square, we say who we are, we announce our evidence of permanent common interest, we have two people vouch for who we are and what we say we are, and then we cast our vote. That's a free election. That is a good people getting together and guaranteeing that the people we send down there to represent us won't betray us. The chance of them betraying us are very, very small at that point. And everybody who votes that they want to trespass on their neighbor's property, everybody who thinks their neighbor is bad and points a finger at him and wants a gun pointed at him, will know who's who in the zoo. And then we'll have the peaceful, what's that called? Migration. And we'll have a peaceful migration out of the Commonwealth of Virginia, where the good people will run Virginia and all the bad people in Virginia will leave. I'm sorry that your mass migration out of Virginia is going to plummet your property prices. And then after we reorganize the government, because Donald Trump, maybe he's going to drop the 82nd Airborne right into Richmond, bring in the assets necessary to enforce a Republican form of government. We reconvene the legislative body, who then impeaches the governor for publicly advocating of sedition. Bingo, we're done. We reorganize. We have the evidence from the Washington Post. We know that there's 30,000 more Republicans in Virginia. So the only way that the Democrats were able to take over was that they committed fraud. And the fraud is evidenced in the counties, because you can look at each one of the counties, and then you can say, wait a minute, do we have a majority of counties that are freedom counties, or do we have a majority of counties that are slavery counties? Right now, they're freedom counties. We have a majority of freedom counties. There's your will, Virginia Defense League. Our will is at the local level, not in Richmond anymore. We're in control of the counties. So Donald Trump, well, if we don't show up, we send buses. They go down there, Antifa, the bad actors all show up there. There's nobody to fight. There is no Virginia gun owners down there protesting without a gun. They're not petitioning. That's not a redress of grievances. That's going to prison. It's a prison. It's a prison. You see that right there? That's an overlook. That is an overlook to shoot into. Oh, wait a minute. I know. Wait a minute. I know. That right there, the overlook, is for. Oh, let me see. I gotta go back. I gotta find it. Let's dig. Oh, there it is. I dig. Open link. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Right here, baby. Let me see. This right here is a shooting gallery to shoot into the gallery. shooting platform. There's the shooting platform. Open imaging tab. There's the shooting platform. There it is. Shooting platform. There it is. Shooting platform. There it is. The gallery. We're going to roll up with that. Now here's what's interesting. It says that says sheriff on it. So this thing's all ready to go. They're not bringing that up to the house. They're going to bring it up to the fence. So you have perimeter defense. Nobody has to get close. There's the guys who are going to shoot in through the fence to anybody who tries to come. These guys are going to protect the pod. And these guys are going to shoot down into people from the pod. Wonderful. Yes. That's the way it's going to roll. Here in Virginia, Virginia Defense Force, you are going to be shot like a fish in a barrel with no water. Shooting fish in a barrel is a double-minded thought, because we all know what happens when you shoot into a barrel of water. It preserves the bullet. It's a trap. Courtesy vehicle. There's the pin. There's the platform. There's the pin. There's the platform. There's the pin. There's the platform. I'm telling you, man, this latest part of the production has been brought to you by Stream Deck. Stream Deck, Stream Deck, Stream Deck. I like my Stream Deck. Stream Deck is worked out the kinks. It stopped crashing for the most part. Oh, there it is. It's crashed. It's not clapping. Stream Deck, I tried to run the clap option for you, but oh my goodness, you have failed. That was a hell of a delay. My pooter is hurt. Yes. As soon as somebody takes lemons for computers, I'll upgrade. I want to thank all my previous lemon donators. Buckshot, thank you very much. It was wonderful. My 2 hours still hasn't brought the chest up, but I know how to do this. I can add. Let me see. There you go. I want to thank Buckshot. I want to thank Bayonet. And I want to thank anybody else who's anonymous for coming. And at the end of this show today, I would distribute the chest. But there is a problem with me distributing the chest at the end of the show. That would require me to convince you to stick around. But anyway, I want to thank everybody who showed up today. I do have a time limit. I'm going to take this show, I'm going to take it to the man, I'm going to take it to the people. I'm going to rerun it. So if you're watching this, you're going to be watching the rerun on Ra Television, R.I. Ra is the king, is the Irish king. He is the Royal Institute, Ra. He is the king of knowledge. It is out of the Irish that all knowledge spread across the earth. Michael Tazarian did a whole presentation on what collegiate is. And being Irish, I feel I need to follow in the footsteps of everybody. All right, Bookshot, congratulations. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Be sure to spread those lemons for those who are deserving and spreading freedom, freedom, freedom throughout the world. That's it, freedom. Freedom to go places. Thank you for the ice cream. Thank you for the lemon. You didn't have to return it to me, but yes, that's the velocity of lemons. Right now, if you want to see how fiat currency is supposed to work, the Federal Reserve did a white paper on the fundamental modern money mechanics, or fundamental mechanics of modern money, and it's how to get a fiat system to run properly. And the most important thing you need in a fiat system to keep it propped up is what is called demand. And the way that the Federal Reserve keeps the Federal Reserve note in demand is that they have people with a gun who demand you give it to them. They get you to voluntarily be a 13th Amendment slave, which Donald Trump can, through a slice of the pen. Re-education. The re-education in America needs to go to the county level, where we explain what the good people of Virginia are. We need to institute a Republican form of government where we have state citizens. And then the first thing we do is that we disavow the nigger clause, which is, 4/5 of a person, or whatever that Supreme Court ruling is that we disavow it. Donald Trump proclaims it null and void because it is unconstitutional on its face. And then anybody who owns property in Virginia, welcome to the state of Virginia as a citizen. You don't become a citizen of Virginia by just showing up. You have to present the information and the desire of community and common interest. And common interest in the community is by buying land. That's what that means. And we have a different version. Now, Donald, if you want to allow 13th Amendment U.S. citizens, shame, shame, shame. All that should be done away with immediately. And should have been done away with when we had control of the House, Senate, and you. But unfortunately, you didn't have the power to do stuff like that. And I know. You've been trying to solidify power in the belly of the beast. And the acid is eating away at you. So in a way, thank you Lord, for putting Donald Trump in the gap. I don't know necessarily I wanted this, because I would have rather had 2016. Let's go. It's on. Because what they're doing in Virginia, we've done on a federal level, and it would have been easier to control the situation because the federal forces would not be able to concentrate into one area like they are Richmond. And if anybody is following orders saying, well, you got what you deserve, well, then you'll get what you deserve if we return to a Republican form of government. Because you are saying that you have no responsibility to follow your oath of office. And if you're saying you don't have a responsibility to follow the oath of office, shame on you. 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 It's too bad. State Trooper Willard, I thank the Lord for your honesty. But Lord, please don't forgive him, for he knows what he's doing. He is a wolf in a sheep's clothing, saying that it's justified, that everybody's getting what they deserved. It's all built on a fraud. And the fraud occurred when they forced people to go through the indoctrination called school. School. S-K-O-O-L. Shul. S-C-H-U-L-E. School. Shul. Schedule. What are you? Shul. S-C-H-U-L-E. Shul. School. Double-minded. Everybody's double-minded in this world. It's a shame. It all starts when they shove shit on your eyes so you can't see when you first come out of the womb. Then they stick you with a needle, steal your blood, and put foreign fetus, put in foreign DNA into your body. And then they drop you on a piece of paper and say you are birthed onto the square. It's a sad situation. And all that stuff is forbidden knowledge. And anybody who mocks and ridicules it, look, they got a place for you. You can go to you can go down to the square. This is a square. It's a square. It's the Liberty Tree. You can go in there, go through the guard tower, get in there, and play Palestinian, and let Governor Northam, who's already given the order. He doesn't have to give any more order except for a double tap to anybody who, after he personally tells them to do something, they don't do it. Because that's what he's going to have to do. Because he might get all itchy and say, why aren't you dispatching those people with extreme prejudice? But these people in the tower, in the mobile shooting platform, have been given the order to dispatch you with extreme prejudice. Right now in Virginia, anybody who doesn't follow the order of the agent of the governor can be dispatched with extreme prejudice. And they might actually start dispatching people here on the highways. It would not surprise me if we hear about troopers being killed, troopers killing people on the highways. Would not surprise me if that occurs. It became open season on all the people who have defied the governor and his administration and supported a sanctuary county. Every sanctuary county, as far as the governor is concerned, is an insurrection. And they're going to deal with you, but they're daring you to show up, get into the cage. Get into my belly, the governor says. The baby-eating governor. The governor who wants to discuss with women, because women have more rights in the Commonwealth of Virginia, as far as he's concerned, than men. A woman has the right in Virginia to birth a child and then split the child up with a doctor. Now, the doctor is being paid. And here, Governor Northam and his insane posse gets the mother to pay the doctor to agree to give away her child so that others may enrich themselves, to allow middlemen to enrich themselves. He didn't say, you know, lady, you're paying me to do this, so here's the proceeds. I'll let you decide. Do you want to keep it since you're paying me, or do I get to keep it? And if I get to keep it, thank you very much, sign this piece of paper. That's it. That's what that's his vision of the way it's going to happen in Virginia. He has control of the State House. There's been no retreat on his part. Matter of fact, his people enacted a whole bunch of laws. We had seditious Republicans who thought, hey, I might as well put my cards on the table. Oh, shucks. I know that I'm violating people's freedom of association, but in America, you're not, the freedom to associate with somebody and trade Federal Reserve notes and pieces of iron and plastic. Well, we're going to put labels on that and say you can't do it without first obtaining our permission. You know, it's not the person. The one breaking the rules is the one who comes here knowing they can't buy a weapon at a state sanctioned armory. They're lawbreakers, and if they go deceive somebody at a gun show, take them down. The person at the gun show asks. Now, if they feel funny, they'll tell them to go over and fill out the paperwork. They'll do that. They'll send them away. Tell them, hey, go fill out the paperwork. You know, I have every right not to sell you something at a gun show or at my house, but that's my right. That's the good people of Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia. They have that right. We have a right. People like Emmett Hanger and the Democrats don't say, you know, you don't have the right. It's pre-crime. In other words, you are now being judged, and we've got to prove you're not committing a crime by freely associating with somebody. the background check is a violation of the First Amendment, and that's the freedom of association. Forcing me to have to get permission to associate with somebody. Now, the code is clear. Anybody who has a license, well, they've acquiesced to being a creation of the state, and the state can regulate its creations. And when Obama said that you didn't create that business, he knew that. And that's what he was really telling everybody. It was offensive because on the first blush, you think that you created the business, but you didn't. If you got a business license or you got a trade license, you went to an authority and became subservient to that authority and asked permission to freely associate with your neighbors. That's your choice. In Virginia, you have the freedom of association. As one of the good people of Virginia, that's why you have freedom. And this is a trespass. And this is the trespass that's not forgivable. Because as one of the good people of Virginia, when you say that I got to get your permission to freely associate, that's a trespass, man. That's the battleground right there. And, you know, anybody who knowingly comes to me and deceives me, they're the ones you go punish. They're the ones who need to be punished. They're your property. You must remove your property from the common way. If your property can't be trusted running around in the common area, in the common ground, in the common way, it needs to be removed. That's what that boils down to. If someone's not legal to buy a weapon at a state-sanctioned armory, then you have no right to force me to do your job. You need to remove your property because they're your ward. All felons who are unable to buy property, who are able to do it, if you need to take control of your property. Forcing me to do your job is not acceptable. Remove your property from the common area, the common way. They have no rights. You're not allowed to force your criminals on the good people of Virginia. And that's what Emmett Hanger's doing. When Emmett Hanger says he's going to get in between your freedom of association, he is violating your God-given rights that were enshrined to form the government so that we will use mind control, take care of the wards of Virginia. And Virginia has people, there are people who have to be wards. But your wards aren't running the Virginia. If you're a ward, you can't run. Now, we'll let you register to vote. You registered to vote, now get in the pen. If you're a registered voter, get in the pen. Go jump in the pen. Go get in the pen, baby. Get in the pen. All the registered voters, all the felons, go get in the pen. If you're a ward of the governor's, go get in the pen. Governor's going to take care of you. And if you act up in the pen, he's going to use his mobile platform right there to dispatch with extreme prejudice. Everybody, you're warned. He's warned you. Everything is in motion. All branches of the military are in motion. We don't know where the 82nd Airborne is. We don't know what the Navy is doing off the eastern coast of Virginia. We don't know what is true, what is false. We don't. We don't know. And what we don't know, we don't know. But we do know that the governor has suspended the Virginia Code. He has given the order dispatch with extreme prejudice, and he's taken possession of the Capitol. He is in control of the people's house. And the people we sent there as representatives have been captured. They're captured. They no longer have 1 through 6. They don't have a free election. There is no free elections in Virginia. They have secret elections. So when State Trooper Willard explained to Alex Jones and his audience that you get what you deserve, and if you're going to go into the common area that is controlled by the governor, and you're violating the code that the governor has signed into law, he's going to arrest you. He's not coming to your house. He's going to catch you on the governor's roads. And all roads that have a post office box on them are government or federal law roads. They're postal roads. So this extends. State Trooper rides on all the roads of Virginia on behalf of the post office and the federal government. You got to look into the creation of the state police. State police was created because they had to deal with, they had to police a contract and martial law. That's their job. All state police are policing a contract, and the contract that they're policing is the one that you created when you registered to vote. But since you were not informed of the true, the veritas of your contract, it's a fraud. And State Trooper Willard is part of the people committing a fraud against you. It's sad. You've been forewarned. The lesser magic has been performed. Alex Jones speaks to the Virginia Defense League. I'm speaking to you if you care to listen. I'm going to go talk with you. I'm coming. I'm going to have a conversation. I'm going to let you know. I'm going to let you know. If you don't understand the battlescape, you shouldn't be in this game. Militia don't blindly follow orders. Militia are people who have in their mental capacity decided that they can manage their own affairs and be a cog in freedom, not a cog. And not a cog in tyranny. Well, thanks for coming back, Bayonet. I appreciate it. You came back just in time for me to wrap this up because I got an 11 o'clock, and I'm going to put this into repeat. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to repeat nonstop this plea, because this is a plea. And I'm pleading with everybody who says they're going to Richmond for freedom. Don't go to Richmond. Secure the freedom in your county first. We outnumber them. They admitted it. They admitted through the Washington Post the day after the rezoning of the districts for the election in 2018 that they committed a fraud. They said that, yes, this new redistricting that the federal government, through their court bureaucracy, commissioned and approved, will ensure the Democrats control over both houses and the governor of Virginia. That's what's going on. They admitted it, that they redistricted Virginia so that both houses would be Democrat. They admitted it. They admitted it the day after the ruling by the court and the agreement by the Republican side of the aisle. Republicans agreed to allow Democrats to control the redistricting of Virginia. You acquiesced. State Trooper Willard said, you let it happen. It's your own fault. Now, don't get uppity. He is the highest level of magician. He stirred the pot. He sat there on Alex Jones and mixed the media. They've warned you, Virginia Defense League, do not go. Because if you go there, there's a very good possibility that what's going to happen is going to be very, very painful. It's going to be sad. You're not going to be in control of the battle space. You're going to allow your enemy to decide your demise. Everybody who's going, everybody who's going to participate down there, they're going to hijack your phone. If they don't take you out down there, they're going to take you out in the hinterland when you're not able to defend yourself. They're planning it. They're going to know who you are. The biggest and the loudest thing we can do is silence. And the silence we send them are empty buses. And then we show up and organize around the homes of the different representatives. If a representative has an office space down in Woodstock or Waynesboro, go to his office. Take your rifle and a sign. Do it. You have to. Local politics is what matters. They've already admitted that they stole the election from you. Don't go down there and let them steal your soul. Don't be prisoners. Please don't. Dear Lord, thank you for everything you've given me and everything that you will provide for me in the future. There is power in the name. There is power in the blood. Thank you, Lord, for sending me your Son.
Gentlemen, prepare to defend yourselves.